Good morning and good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where in the world you are. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Twitter. And good morning, Twitter. Well, we've got quite a bit to talk about, don't we? Just a little bit. Yeah, this week hasn't been a good week, has it? And as a matter of fact, I think we could describe this as a very trying week. We could describe this as a week full of disappointments, a week of, well, just basically us being gutted, you could say. You know, I don't know how many of you felt like you've just been gut punched because of this. Hey, what's going on, Math Pig? I don't know how many of you feel like you've just been literally gut punched after the Senate decided to go with the president and just give him a pass. Pretty much say, you know what? This is a trial. We don't need witnesses. We don't need any stinking. Hey, Joanne, how's it going? We know who you are. Let me say hi real quick. Just real quick. Unfortunately, Facebook doesn't let me respond in real time. I have to be on a separate device. That's the only thing that's troublesome about this app, but that's okay. So back to our crushing disappointment. We shouldn't feel we shouldn't feel defeated. We shouldn't feel disappointed. We kind of knew going in, didn't we? We kind of knew that the Republican-controlled Senate was going to go ahead and give a pass to this man. Was going to go ahead and just, doesn't matter what he's done, doesn't matter what he said, doesn't matter what he plans on doing. Mitch McConnell pretty much said it best. He said, we're going to coordinate the Senate trial with the president and the administration. So when you have somebody who promises to coordinate with the administration, with the president, you're not going to get a fair trial. You're not going to get. They're not interested in the truth. They're not interested in facts. They're not interested in that. We should know that. We shouldn't expect any less. We know the GOP is completely lawless. They've totally given into the cult of personality, which is Trump. So now the GOP is, in fact, Trump's party. Just about everything about the GOP is identified with Trump. Okay, there is no conservatism about the Republican Party. It's Trump's party now. This is the party of Trump. This is who they've decided to make their mascot. This is their leader, their spokesman. He speaks for the common people. He talks like just one of us. So we shouldn't feel, as much as it pains me to say, we shouldn't feel disappointed, because we should have had zero expectations going in. We shouldn't feel disheartened. We shouldn't feel, well, a lot of people are angry, and I have to admit some similar feelings, but it didn't hit me that hard, because I'm looking at the Twitter feed and I'm looking at people that I can't see many of them now, but some of them were just like, how many of you are just frustrated? How many of you are just sick of this administration? How many of you are just tired? You know? Here's Bette Midler, fake president, fake commander-in-chief, fake human being. Exactly. There's nothing presidential about him. There's nothing that commands respect as far as him being commander-in-chief. In fact, he's been very disgusting when talking about generals. What did he call them? A bunch of babies? What else did he call them? Anybody who doesn't support his idea of how the war should be fought is they're considered disloyal, and they should be fired immediately. And he's a fake human being. He has no human empathy whatsoever. There's nothing empathetic about him. There's nothing there. There was a protester who had their child up on their shoulders. The child was holding a sign. The sign read this: "I'm not allowed to behave like the president." Think about that for just a little bit. Oh, by the way, Joanne, we got to get you on StreamYards. We got to get you on StreamYards. You could be on multiple different platforms. So anyway, going back to this, children aren't allowed to behave and talk like the president. Isn't that interesting? Think about that for just a second. Children, they're not allowed to quote their president. They're not allowed to behave like their president. That's interesting. You know what that tells me? That tells me that Trump is worse, much worse than a child. At least a child can be taught right from wrong. Trump can't be taught. Trump can't be taught. You can't talk to him. You can't reason with him. He does not listen. Here's an interesting tweet from Alicia Milano. The Trump administration has rolled back restrictions on the U.S. military's use of landmines that have been banned by more than 100 countries. I've walked through an active minefield in Angola, Africa with HaloTrust. No weapon should outlive a war. Yeah, I agree with that mostly. No weapon should outlive a war. Well, yeah, if it's not being controlled, yes, I fully agree. If the weapon is buried in the dirt, waiting for some unsuspecting schmuck to just step on it, well, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with it. And it just sits there for 35 plus years until somebody walks across it because they don't know any better. Yeah, I agree with that. What is the use of having a minefield? What's the point? You know what Trump is going to do with this? He's going to start using landmines. I guarantee you, I wonder if he's going to start using landmines at our border. It would not surprise me at all. If in the next couple of years, if he wins 2020 election, I would not be surprised to hear reports from our border that shows asylum seekers trying to get across the border, and then they get blown up because of these fucking landmines, and they get buried and forgotten about. That's what's interesting. That's what's interesting. and this should be people all over. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Everyone should be screaming about this. There's a reason they are banned. They are they are monstrous. Children getting blown up from landmines. We need more of that. Let's just bring it all back, Donnie. Unreal. But I see some of the I don't know. I see some of the discouragement out there in Twitterland and a little bit on Facebook. And 2020 November 2020 is still not here. It's not here yet. It's coming. I know it seems like a lifetime from here. I mean, 6 days into 2020, I just felt exhausted. I'll be honest with you. I felt exhausted. I was tired. It was just like, what next? After all the House impeachment hearings I watched, and then some of the Senate hearings, it's like 3 days after the hearing. I mean, I just stopped watching it. Adam Schiff was brilliant. I saw up to that point, and then once the Trump lawyers took over and started, I mean, it was just over for me. I'm like, okay, we're done. So people are going to be watching the Super Bowl today. People are going to, who knows, maybe showing up to protest. But people are generally discouraged. People are tired, and I don't blame them. November is coming. November is coming. November is coming. I can't say that enough. Hold out. Hold out to the end. This insanity, this insanity of 2020 eventually will be a thing of the past. It will be the thing of the past. This man will be relegated to the dustbin of history, as he should be. He will be a forgotten memory. Well, I should say he will be nothing more than just a bad memory. Eventually, he will be forgotten. But this was fascist America's last attempt to grab onto power. It's the religious far right, the fascists, the Nazis. This was their battle of the bulge. Okay? Keep this in mind. This was their battle of the bulge. Their last attempt. They're just struggling to be relevant, struggling. Just maybe we can win this. Maybe we can win this. Just one last thrust, one last attack. Maybe this is it. Yes, Joanne, that is correct. Trump is a void of legs. How can anyone look at him and see anything other than fraudulence? Yeah, there is nothing genuine about him. Absolutely nothing. That is correct. You know, there but let's just keep this in mind. This was the GOP's battle of the bulge. They're gonna win a few battles. There'll be some casualties, but let's not forget, after 2020, their legs get sawed off. That's it. That's it. That's all. And we're going to be making and once we get control of the Senate, and we will, we're going to make it to where people like Donnie Trump, people like Donnie Trump, and yeah, let's throw in George Bush in while we're at it. People like him do not get elected to high office. We need to start putting in some restrictions. There needs to be drug tests performed. There needs to be competency tests performed. They need to be able to pass certain tests before they can even I don't know, even put their hat in the ring for the presidency. There's got to be some measures put into place, because we the people cannot allow this to happen ever again. Ever again. If we let this happen again, there won't be much of anything left of this country. We cannot allow this to happen again. Ever, 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 ever. And not only does it affect the US, but this affects the entire world. The entire world gets affected by leaders like Trump, by narcissists and people that just don't give a damn except themselves. And that includes their idiotic followers. I could not believe some of the people that were put in high office, that were allowed to get high office. You got Ben Carson. I mean, listen to him speak, and you just want to kill yourself. This guy, Betsy DeVos, head of our education. There was another appointee. He was a let me think. He's part of our health department. I think he was an anti-vaxxer or something like that. I mean, these are incompetent people. Not only do you hire an incompetent president when you vote for an incompetent president, but he brings his incompetence with him. People like Trump surround themselves with like-minded individuals. So it's not just the presidency that suffers, it's the entire country. So don't lose heart. Don't lose faith. This is going to be a bad dream. And even if Trump wins 2020 because of the Electoral College, even if he wins it just by it will not be by a landslide. I am so sick and tired of seeing that Trump 2020 landslide. It's like, no, fucker. No. Trump didn't win by a landslide in 2016, and he sure as shit not going to win a landslide in 2020. Where do you get this strange notion? Where do you get this strange notion that Trump is going to win by a landslide? Where do you get this from? Where do you get this from? It's from only a deranged mind can come up with that and believe it. A delusional, deranged mind. But they walk among us, don't they? And they have to be treated like people, even though you want to treat them like children, because they are. They really are. So don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. November is coming. And when November comes, we need to make sure that we have some fucking resolve. The whoever wins the nomination, okay? Whoever wins the nomination, it will probably not be your first choice. It will most likely be somebody whose policies you don't exactly agree with. But we need to realize that if we do not come together, we cannot afford to throw away votes. 12% of this country threw away their vote when they voted third party, Jill Stein. But, there's another portion of this country that is even more disappointing, and that's the over 1/3 of the population who did not vote, who decided to sit on their asses in 2016. Yeah. 2016. Over 100 million voters sat out. And I have to wonder if it was influenced part and parcel by conspiracy theorists that discouraged them from voting for Hillary. A lot of misinformation was being floated about from 2012 to 2016. A lot of misinformation. And they knew Trump was bad news, but they didn't want to vote for Hillary. So they decided, you know what? I cannot vote for either party. And they sat it out. 2016. And because they sat it out, they didn't participate. Look what we have. Look what we have. So yes, we have got to keep our heads up. We've got to keep our wits about us, and we need to be on the lookout for fake news and misinformation. And when you see if you're on Twitter and you see fellow resistors pushing false narratives and dare I say it, fake news, yes, we need to challenge them on it and say, no, this has been fact checked. It is wrong. We need to hold ourselves accountable. This fucking guy. Donald Trump getting a little exercise in the morning. Yeah, this raises a good point. It's amazing. Remember when Trump said, "Oh, I'm not going to have enough time for vacation. I'm going to be working so hard for America. I won't have time." Remember that shit? Remember when he said, "I won't have time"? Look, I mean, look at this fucking guy. He made fun of he ridiculed Obama for all the golfing vacations that Obama took. And I have to admit, I wasn't happy either. I was not happy with Obama's expensive vacation trips. But you know what? You know who has far outspent Obama? Let me just put this in perspective, resistors. In 8 years' time, all of the vacations that Obama took in 8 years, Trump has far outspent that in 3 years. 3 years. The American taxpayer has been. I hate to even click on this. Let's if it'll let me. Come on. Okay, I'm already there. Never mind. This guy has spent more time on the golf course than Obama did in 8 years. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, here it is. You know someone's going to come up with the tea and the facts. Here we go. Let's look at this. Lining your pockets at the taxpayer's expense again while threatening to gut Social Security, Medicare for being too expensive. This motherfucker. He's going to take food out of the mouths of people who are poor, working minimum wage. Okay. They're not getting living wages. Okay. But he's going to spend, look at this. Just the flights to Mar-a-Lago, 53 million. Flights to Bedminster, 18 million. Cost to Bedminster, Palm Beach, 19. Coast to guard coast off Mar-a-Lago, 27 million. Luxury car rentals, 1,068,000 in Scotland, Ireland, blah, blah, blah. $123 million. I believe this is this year. Or is it all 3 years? Security costs to local governments in Florida and New Jersey, 6.4 million reimbursed by the federal government. So yeah, that doesn't even. These are based on imprecise estimates. Yes, because we don't know the full cost. It's actually much higher, isn't it? It's much higher, I believe. But here we are. But he's going to work so hard. He doesn't have time. He doesn't have time. Unreal. Let's see what other gems are left on Trump's page. Oh, yes. Here it is. Man, I tell you, you follow enough people and they're going to give you the tea. They've got the info. Let's listen to Trump in his own words, if it'll play. Let's try it again.
I love golf, but if I were in the White House, I don't think I'd ever see Turnberry again. I don't think I'd ever see Doral again. I own Doral in Miami. I don't think I'd ever see many of the places that I have. I don't ever think I'd see anything. I just want to stay in the White House and work my ass off, make great deals, right? Who's going to leave? There won't be time to go on vacations. There won't be time to go golfing all the time. I'm not going to play much golf because there's a lot of work to be done. You need leadership. Yeah. You know, you can't fly to Hawaii to play golf. I don't know where the president was. He wasn't very far away. Maybe he was playing golf. Obama, it was reported today, played 250 rounds of golf. Obama went golfing every day. Let Obama go play golf every day. Obama plays more golf than professional players in the PGA Tour. Played a lot of golf. He's played more than most PGA touring professionals play. More than a guy who plays on the PGA Tour plays. PGA Tour plays more golf. PGA Tour. PGA Tour. I mean, this guy, golf. More. Learning how to chip, learning how to hit the drive, learning how to putt. Oh, I want more. If you become president and you go to the White House, why would you want to leave the White House? When you're in the White House, who the hell wants to play golf? Who wants to leave the White House? How the hell do you leave for 3 weeks to play golf? If I get elected president, I'm going to be in the White House a lot. I'm not leaving.
Right. Joanne asks a very, very important question. How many homeless could you get off the street for 123 million? You know, they always complain about the homelessness in New York and Los Angeles. And then you've got these asshole pundits like, can't even think of her name now, but she's a Fox News talking head, complaining that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, why don't they clean up their own districts? $123 million. $123 million. And this guy lies his ass off. I won't even be playing golf. I won't have time. Another figure is 130 million as opposed to 123 million. Yeah. Here's a good one. A 70-year-old who watches 6 hours of cable TV a day, plays golf, and is always in Florida is a retiree, not a president. Bitch slap. Bitch slap. Right there. There it is. You got enough time to stuff your fucking face with KFC, with McDonald's. Yeah, look at this jackass. President Obama has a major meeting on the New York City Ebola outbreak with people flying in from all over the country, but decided to play golf. What the fuck were you doing? What the fuck were you doing, Donald? There's coronavirus outbreaks. What are you doing during the virus outbreak? You're playing golf. I'm getting a little exercise. I'm getting exercise. That's what it is. It's not like Obama. Obama golfing all the time. Obama this, Obama that. Shut your fucking hole, you piece of shit. It's all right. We'll let you know what we think of you November. Yep, here it is. Here's another guy. I'm telling you. There are people that have the voice clips, they've got the video clips, they've got memes, they've got facts. I'm telling you, it's like you follow enough people and you're going to get the tea. You will get the tea. While Trump takes pictures of himself golfing, Greta Thunberg gets nominated for 2020 Nobel Peace Prize. Life is sweet. Trump is still upset that he didn't get nominated for Man of the Year. He didn't get nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. That's our president getting upset by a little girl. 245 days spent golfing. 22% of his time. Cost to the taxpayers now, this is 125 million. So 130 million, 123 million, 125. So yeah, the figures are imprecise because we don't know how much money was spent, because you have to calculate special service secret. You got to count Secret Service, you've got to count Air Force One, you've got to count man, his golfing sucks. I don't know, his form is just terrible. Yuck. Anyway, yeah, young and vibrant. Somebody's got a meme of him, the similarities between him and Adolf. Yeah, they're very close. I have to say, they're very close in personality. The only thing is Trump thinks he has Trump thinks he's funny. That's something that Adolf never was. Adolf was never funny. But yeah, this is where we're at. And I apologize for those watching on Twitter. The sound wasn't even on. So the first half is like no audio. That is true, Clive. He's impeached for life. Yeah, send me a follow, Clive, if I don't remember. Yeah. So for the first 15 minutes, I think the sound was off on this stream because I'm doing multiple streams, and I forgot to click one button, and I had no sound. So anyway, my fault. So I hope to not do that again. But yeah, so all I wanted to say, fellow resistors, is keep your head up. This clown isn't going to be president for very long, I have a feeling. And like I said before, he may, just because of the Electoral College and the gerrymandering, he just may. Oh, look, Christy Swanson shows up. Thank you. Thank you, Christy, for showing up. Looking great, Mr. President. I hope you had a fun time. Golf ladies for Trump. I swing left, but I vote right. Christy, dear, first of all, obviously you don't remember what the president said. Obviously you don't remember the president saying, I'm going to be working so hard for America. I'm going to be working so hard. Going to be working so I won't have time to go to my golf resorts. I won't have time. Yeah. Looking good, Mr. President. I mean, you okay, sycophant. We've heard from you. Go away. You know who looks even better than Trump? Even Obama and Michelle. I mean, even these guys 10 times better and much more in shape. That look when you owned the American presidency and not a shot was fired. Yep. That is correct. You know something Khrushchev once said years ago? He said we're going to corrupt and destroy America from within. Khrushchev said that back in the 80s. Did it come true? Yeah, I think it came true. I think Khrushchev's vision for America finally came true. Didn't take long. Didn't take much either. I mean, Putin, all the groundwork was already laid. It was already there for him. It was just like, it's like Alexander the Great, his dad, pretty much had the empire, the engine to create an empire ready to go. All he needed was somebody enigmatic, somebody that just had a lot of, I don't know, personality, a lot of drive, a lot of there's a word I'm looking for. Somebody that had a strong cult personality. Personality that people could glom onto and say, yes, we identify with you. But yeah, this is it. So keep your head up, resistors. November is coming. Just keep that in mind. And with that, I'll say good afternoon, good night, or good morning, depending on where in the world you are. Keep resisting. We'll do this again sometime.